My name is Ifeanyi Abraham, the managing editor of TechSoma. I'm still at the Africa Tech Summit where I'm speaking with operators, startup founders, VCs, and different caliber of investors that are doing amazing things in the African tech ecosystem. Today I have David Kimani, the CEO of Afrex, with me, and we're going to have a very interesting conversations. Big at this event has been talk about Web3 and stable coins, and David runs a company that is into stable coins. He'll tell us a bit more about stable coins and how his business helps other businesses in Africa to thrive. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing good, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the introduction. I appreciate it.
How are you enjoying the Africa Tech Summit?
I think it's a good experience, being the fact that a lot of the payment companies that we're partnering with locally are all over here and internationally. So I think for us, it's a learning experience to get to build our networks locally, especially.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So how did you decide to start Afrex, and what is Afrex?
Okay, so Afrex is a small combination of Africa Exchange, and generally what we like to do, or the problems we're solving in Kenya, is the fact that a lot of companies and individuals don't have exposure to stablecoins. So there's a learning curve to that as part of a startup. We come to the ecosystem to teach startups or other even entrepreneurs how to build our own company similar to us. That's number one. Educate them on the Web3 space, so that's stablecoins, tokens, and how they can have the local currency be converted to the digital currencies that are now used to trade from an international level. In terms of our business operations, we have a OTC brokerage, which generally deals with big ticket sizes above 50 million and low sizes to 50K. So we deal with institutional level trading. So any treasury B2B companies who want to do cross-border payments with stable coins, we'll give them liquidity exposure. And then in return, we'll take local currency and fiat currency as well.
Okay.
So that's one of our complexity to our business model. And we have an online platform where people can come and visit us and see our case-by-case basis. We deal with mostly import and export companies, payment providers, banks, and also forex exchanges.
Fantastic. Okay, so how do you deal with compliance? I was at an event recently and the director of payments for Central Bank of Kenya was talking about, he was asked a question about stable coins. And he made an analogy. He felt like M-Pesa is e-money in terms of how it operates, because M-Pesa is wildly prevalent within the economy. He doesn't see the case for stable coins in the economy at all. So how do you deal with that compliance? And do you have any messaging for regulators in terms of how they approach stable coins?
Yeah, so interesting you say that, because initially I joined an association which is called the Virtual Asset Chambers, and we were invited by the Treasury to speak on matters on how to regulate such products like ours who are exposed to digital assets. Now, in terms of the compliance, we face from a banking level. So most of our infrastructure, because we're receiving local currency and fiat, as we call it in our ecosystem, you have to, number one, follow FATF laws and AML laws and CTF laws, right? So that's what governs most of any exposure we're having with local currency or fiat. That's number one. Number two, you have to have a certain license. So currently, the good thing with our product and services is our infrastructure partner has a money service business license based out of America and Canada, and recently in Dubai by Vara. So any type of local currency we receive within the jurisdictions, that covers us. As part of Kenya, being in the gray area of our operations, they have to build a case-by-case basis of how the local consumers are using the stable coins.
Okay.
So in this particular case, a lot of people are being charged high fees to do cross-border payments. You might want to trade with an individual, let's say in Dubai, right? Your bank will take you 5 days to do a SWIFT settlement. But if you pay dollars locally to on and off-ramp startup that's exposed to stablecoin liquidity, you can be able to settle within 15 minutes to now your vendor now in Dubai.
Fantastic.
So that's the beauty of the cross-border element to it.
Yeah.
We still do KYC, we still do onboarding, we still have to do our checks in order to take on the B2B client.
Yeah. So would you say stablecoins is the future of payments?
I would say definitely it is part of the exposure. In terms of the future, there are different use cases, because a lot of Africa is still a cash-based business, and there's a lot of education that needs to happen for people to then be able to. M-Pesa is a perfect example of how you can transition from being from cash to just having money in your account, or mobile banking, or using your app and paying with like touch pay.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can transition to another level where your currency that you're spending with on a day-to-day can just be all over your phone.
Yeah. Okay.
And then now you don't always have to go to your bank. Next thing you know, you won't have physical offices. Everybody will be using a chat to communicate, to be making payments.
Amazing.
So it's a transition. So it is the future, but it will take time for the African market to understand more about it.
So in terms of use cases, are there any countries where stablecoin has been widely adopted that you are using as a model in terms of what you build for Africa?
Yes. So given that Africa is an emerging market, right? Some countries, are very dollar-denominated countries, right? They have to go from their local currency to dollars to then trade within Africa. So I'll give you a practical example. In Kenya, you have to do trade with, let's say, Zambia, right? But Zambia has a dollar shortage, and they need dollar exposure. That's where stablecoin comes in. It could either be an extra layer of where, if the dollar shortage is weak, stablecoins can come and fill in that liquidity.
Amazing.
Right? And that helps, especially with people who want to do international business overseas, because most of import-export, they need to get paid in dollars, isn't it?
Yeah.
They don't take local currency. So that's another exposure of how the use cases within emerging markets.
Fantastic. Thank you. Very good to hear about your business, David. I really wish you success.
Thank you.
Like we always do in ending our videos, we tell our guests shout out to TechSoma Africa, TechSoma Middle East, and TechSoma Canada. So
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Big shout out to you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. I mean, it's a pleasure meeting you, mate, for the first time.
Yes, it is.
You gave me a business card. I think you're doing a great job. You're helping the local community. And thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
God bless.